I'm just letting, there we go. Welcome everybody to another session regarding District 74 speech contests and everything that has to do with speech contests in our district of Southern Africa for 2023. This particular session, we're going to focus on online contests and hybrid contests. And we're going to, when I say focus on it, just remind everybody that there is a handbook. Toastmasters International is phenomenal when it comes to documenting our education and our experiences. So yes, there is a book, which is really good news. So I welcome all of you. As I've said previously, you don't have to have your cameras on because I do share my screen, so it's quite difficult to see everybody. However, I know as Toastmasters, you are not shy to interrupt, and I encourage that. I totally encourage it. This is an interactive workshop. There is no ways that I am more of an expert than you guys are. This is very much a group effort. And Lynette, I hope, like in previous sessions, you lead the way, set the example, and let everybody be comfortable and confident to add to the discussion. I really get excited when Lynette's online because she is really not shy to use her voice.
No pressure.
No, Lynette, it's much better than the voices in my head. You have much more interesting conversation. So I like your comments. So please, this week, don't be shy. Again, please share all of your ideas with us. You guys are logging on very quickly, fast and furiously. So I do apologize for not greeting all of you individually. Shame, Gabriella, I saw you are on quite early. So welcome. What I'm going to do now is I am going to share my screen so that we can get straight into it and have a look at the handbook that Toastmasters International has shared with us that is available to all of us. Let me quickly go back up. I have shared, why are you all the way down here? I'm going, I'm hitting down instead of up. Okay, so this, I will share the link again, but this handbook or this manual is available on the Toastmasters International website. On that note, major announcement. Please tell everybody you know. The District 74 website is having technical issues at the moment. We are unable to update the website, and it's been like that for a couple of months. We are, as district, obviously trying to sort that out with our service providers and our district council. However, it hasn't been sorted out. So you will notice that everything to do with speech contests still holds last year's information. Please, I encourage you to rather work with the Toastmasters International website so that you make sure you have got the 2022-2023 documentation, manuals, paperwork, and everything else that goes with speech contests. The links, I can share those links again in our chat, but the links are available in that PowerPoint, that slide deck that I shared with you in regards to briefings. So I encourage you to please, when you are talking speech contests, to please talk to the Toastmasters International website and not the District 74 website. There have been some changes, and you will notice some quite a major change is in this particular manual. And if you did read through my proposed script, which Lynette went through word for word, and her feedback was most valuable, you will notice that there's been quite a major change in the suggestion that they have for timers in online contests. So please make sure that you are working with the latest version. I cannot reiterate that enough. So the latest version should have this cover page. And as we go down in it, there's obviously a table of contents, our vision, our mission, our values, and then it goes on to the actual information that is relevant. For those of you that haven't been online with us before, another major announcement. Please keep in mind that all the official contests for District 74 will be online. So all contests above club level will be hosted online exclusively. So the only opportunity that your contestants have in this contest cycle to compete in person or in a hybrid environment would be at club level. All other contests, as decided by a vote at our council executive meeting last year, will be online, exclusively online. Point number 2, I have got it in writing. I made a very special request and I sent through an email and spoke to the powers that be at headquarters for Toastmasters International. Ladies and gentlemen, please be reminded again, we are not allowed to use any other paperwork than the official Toastmasters International Speech Contest paperwork. In other words, we cannot have voting from the voting judges via WhatsApp or via an email or via an online form, which was my favorite way of doing it last year. We need to have all of our voting judges, tie-breaking judge, timers, and ballot counters make use of the official documentation. As chief judge, we need to make arrangements to receive those judges' ballots, the voting judges' ballots. We need to make arrangements to receive those either via email or via a private direct message WhatsApp environment. You need those original ballots with the judge's full name filled in, their signature, and obviously their placing for 1, 2, and 3. Those only if those official ballots are accepted do those votes count. Please be very, very aware of that. So we have been instructed in writing that that is how we need to collect our voting ballots and our record sheets from all of our role players. So please, please be aware of that and make the necessary arrangements. So obviously the only change that where we're not going to be looking at with the only change in regards to the rule book is that each contestant must be physically present. Obviously, when you're working in an online environment or a hybrid environment, that's not possible. So they have in this handout, they have noted that this is an exception to the rule book. However, please read here, other than this exception, the speech contest rule book must be followed as far as it is applicable. So that is the only exception to the speech contest rule book for 2022-2023. Please do not make any other exception. Obviously, we cannot all be physically present when we are online. Okay, so what is the difference between a hybrid and an online contest? So a quick poll in the room. Does anyone want to put up their hand or interrupt me and let me know, have they been holding hybrid contests at this stage already? Have any of you had a hybrid contest or an online contest? Anyone in the room? Let me quickly open up so I can see more people. No one's unmuting. Oh, okay. So Michael Shackleton is unmuted, but he's just Joy. Oh, there he's muted. Anyone had a hybrid or an online contest? Lynette, did you have a hybrid or an online, Lynette?
I participated in a club contest in Mauritius, and I honestly can't remember if it was hybrid or not. It was in late November, but I do think the whole thing was online. I'm a bit confused there, Kirsten, sorry.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. As far as I remember, they actually reached out to me and we were discussing a hybrid scenario and how they were going to implement it. So they might have landed up going full online. Unfortunately, I couldn't join. I wanted to join their event, but I had something else that day. And I know that you were going to get involved with that event. but we were talking about going hybrid, but they might have decided to go online. So yeah.
It may have been hybrid, because now I'm honestly not sure.
Okay. All right, awesome. Gabriella, you've never had a hybrid contest. Cornelius John also says never had a hybrid contest. Okay, so a hybrid contest is actually challenging. And so the reason why I invited you all to Transformers Toastmasters Club speech contest is because we will be hosting a hybrid contest. The reason why Transformers Toastmasters Club is confident enough to do it is not because I'm a club member, trust me. The reason why they are so confident to host it is we have been hosting hybrid meetings since we were allowed to have people physically in the same room, since all the COVID restrictions were lifted. So because we earned money through Speechcrafts, we had funds and we were able to buy the cameras and the stands and the webcams and the stands and everything that went with it. And we are a fully hybrid club. So that is the only reason why we are confident enough to do it for our speech contest. To share with you, it is challenging. So having a contest in person, most of us have experience in that, and there's obviously a lot of details in the speech contest rule book on how to do it in person. So with checklists, so you should be completely fine. In an online environment, a lot of the physical barriers and challenges get removed, and you have breakout rooms where nobody can hear anything. All your judges are renamed, everybody's videos are off. So there's a lot more, we adhere more strictly to the speech rule book, the contest, speech contest rule book. So online for me is one of the easiest ways to implement a speech contest. Hybrid contests, on the other hand, have their own challenges because now your demand for role players increases. If you have contestants online and in the room, you need enough role players to look after both sets. If you have judges in the room and online, you need enough role players to look after both sets. Almost to the extent, if you go through this manual, this manual to the extent that you literally have to double up because you need to still adhere to the speech contest rulebook in both situations. So a hybrid situation is a challenging situation, but at the same time, it does have its advantages because you now allow for your online members who joined your club, for the convenience of online, to actually participate, whereas some of your members might be in a situation where they prefer in-person environments. The important thing to remember and to point this out, if any of you have gone back and were either online live during the international speech contest last year, or you've watched any of the recordings, they had a phenomenal hybrid environment. So they had members on the stage in that beautiful conference venue, and they had members competing online. And the important thing to remember is that all of your role players need to recognize that everybody's in the same space, so that there shouldn't be any biasness. And the contest ran extremely well last year at an international level as a hybrid contest. So very quickly, we're all very comfortable with Zoom. I'm saying that out loud because we survived COVID. So I know that everyone's very comfortable with Zoom. So when it says choose your platform and your settings, in all probability, you're going to choose Zoom. In a corporate club, you might have to use Microsoft Teams. And in this manual, it just goes through and says, when you choose your platform, make sure you can do the following, like mute everybody online. So for all of your online participants, whether it's an online contest or a hybrid environment, everybody online needs to be muted for the entire contest. They are muted. If you are online, everybody online needs to have their video off. Now, for some of us, we like, well, then where do we get the audience feedback? How do I speak to the audience, so forth and so on? And one of the interesting comments that I heard, I don't know if this is the official motivation, but someone pointed out to me, oh my gosh, Kirsten, thank goodness the videos are off, because what happens, you know, your cat jumps onto your laptop, or, you know, your half naked lover walks into the room and I'm trying to do my contest speech. So, you know, I'm going to be a tad distracted. That doesn't normally happen in a Toastmasters meeting. So I thought that was actually a really good point for people online and in a hybrid environment. So when you are running an online contest and a hybrid contest, please make sure your Zoom masters understand everybody must be muted online fully for the entire contest and no video for the entire contest. Now, another point. We are not allowed to take photographs at contests, whether it's in person, online, or hybrid. However, nowhere in the rule book does it say you cannot record an online contest. So that's up to you. If you want to record your contest and use it for training purposes and have your contestants play it back to themselves and have access to that video, you know, the option is there. Nowhere in the contest rule book does it say we are not allowed to record it, but it does say we are not allowed to take photographs. And I think the whole thing with photographs was the flashes, you know, in the old days. Can you imagine, you know, those big flashes that the guys used to have on the top of their cameras? I think that was more what that rule was about. So when you are choosing your technology, the big thing here is make sure everybody can be muted, make sure that you can switch off everybody's video, make sure that you have breakout rooms. Very, very important. You need breakout rooms for the table topics contest, and you need breakout rooms for the evaluation contest. So make sure that you have an experienced Zoom master if you are using Zoom, or please make sure that whatever electronic platform you choose allows, especially for those features. Does anyone have any comments, questions at this point? Okay. I'm hoping you guys are going to put your hands up, because like I said, I can't see all of you. So please put your hands up or just unmute yourself and start talking. When it comes to using an online platform, hybrid and online, one of the really important things that is highlighted in this manual over and over again is that we really don't want to know the names of the people in the audience. So they recommend in here that instead of having people's names and having prefixes like Zoom Master Kirsten, you actually just call me Zoom Master 1, and then my other Zoom Master 2. Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3, Judge 4, Judge 5. And the only reason why we number the judges as per this manual is so that the chief judge can make sure all their judges are in the room. It's the only reason why we name them, number them. So it's a way for the chief judge to look after it. The timers. So they encourage that we don't use prefixes for the role players, but we actually replace their names completely, which I found quite interesting in here. And what it highlighted for me, the only really important people or the important names of the evening are your contestants. So your contestants, they encourage that you have prefixes, because obviously the judges need to know who's speaking. Even though we've announced the speaking order, and that, you know, sometimes your judges need to be reminded. So, there's the possibility of using a prefix. But other than that, everybody else in the room should be renamed to their role. And that's really something to consider and to discuss with your Zoom master, your contest chair, and your chief judge. So that was something that came up, which I found quite interesting in here. Okay, so here again, they talk about managing that Zoom or that platform. One thing that they suggest here is turn off your chat, your messaging, and your QA features. So your Q&A features are normally available in a webinar format. You would probably not run a webinar format in Zoom. You would just run a normal session. And to turn off all of the other features. So for those of you that have Zoom masters that are really experienced, they know to log into the Zoom account online on any, like Google Chrome. and to actually go into the meeting settings and to go, they can go set it up there. They can switch off chat. There's a whole lot of settings for every meeting that they can go in and actually change those settings and make sure when they set up that Zoom session for that contest, those settings are all applied. So make sure that there's no chat and messaging or Q&A features. And the reason again is about distracting. You don't want to distract your contestants. It's all about the distraction that everybody has a playing field. So imagine in a physical room in a hybrid contest, you don't want people passing notes around, that's exactly what messaging is, passing notes around and then giggling because the note was funny or nodding because you agree. It's off-putting to your contestants. At the end of the day, our purpose as the role players is to make sure that our contestants have an equal and fair playing field. So please be very, very aware of that. For the timers, for a hybrid, and that's why I was talking about double role players. When you're in a hybrid or an online environment, we need timers in the room and online. So please be aware of that. The idea is that your timers in the room are not obvious. The lights are not obvious to your judges. And in the room, you have one timer that is looking after the timing lights and another timer who is looking after the official stopwatch. So there's two very specific roles in a physical environment or a hybrid environment for the contest as per the speech contest rulebook. In an online environment, in this particular handout, it says make sure that your contestant can pin the timer that is showing the colored indicators, the timing signals. And they encourage you to make use of the backgrounds. So where the backgrounds fill the whole screen. So it's very obvious to the person presenting. We are not allowed, as your Zoom Master, Contest Chair and Chief Judge, we are not allowed to spotlight or add a spotlight to the timer because we don't want the judges to be aware of the time at all. So it is up to your contestant to be able to pin the timers. Now, because it's the suggested layout is one person uses the stopwatch and one person shows the timing signals. If the timing signal person loses connectivity or falls off the call, that contestant is now at a disadvantage. So this manual says that they must pin the person with the timer with the signal, with the timing signals. My advice is that either they pin both or both timers have timing signals. So they both have the colored background. In case your contestant, in case one of your timers loses connectivity. And in South Africa, unfortunately, we have things like load shedding. So it's a reality. So I would advise that you speak to your timers and you come up with a plan on how those timers are going to work. And if both are going to show the timing signals, that both are going to have stopwatches, both are going to fill in the timing records. So, and have that conversation before your contest chair speaks to your contestant, so that your contestants know who to pin and how to pin them, and if they need to pin two. That would be my advice to you. Another thing that came up here in timing is to have a backup timer if you're online, especially if you're online. It's in a hybrid environment. And the reason why is obviously if one of your timers falls off, but the other big reason is if a contestant, and we will have a look down here. Let me go down to that page. I think I've covered everything here. Okay, it hasn't come up yet, but there is a section in here that it talks about your contestants' connectivity. And what they've suggested in here is if your contestants start speaking and they already into their presentation and then they lose either audio, video, or both, it's up to the contest chair to notice it immediately. And it's up to the contest chair to then call for the timers to pause their timing. Now, in this manual, it suggests that we stop or pause. It suggests, they say the time is up to us as chief judges, and they suggest start with 10 minutes. Pause your timing for 10 minutes to allow that contestant to get back online. But however, it goes on to say that you must take into consideration, here we go, how comfortable your audience and your judges are to wait for 10 minutes. So they say start with 10 minutes, but so you will notice in my script, I've done 5 minutes so that will be definitely for our district contest. It'll be 5 minutes for our contestants to get back online and to carry on from where they finish. They don't start from the beginning, they carry on. So in that particular case, you need the 2 timers who have now paused their time, and you need the backup timer to record that 5-minute interval, that period of 5 minutes that everybody is paused. And that's why if you are running your contest online or hybrid, it is a really good idea to have 3 timers. And the only reason why we talk about 3 timers is because that 3rd timer is going to step in when you don't want to interrupt or distract from your official timing of any contestant. You want your backup timer to record that time when those 2 timers have paused their time, because it needs to be very, very accurate. So, and something to consider when you are creating role players, especially if you've got contestants online, If you are running a hybrid contest and only judges are online, some of your judges, might be all of your judges, some of your judges, then obviously you don't need that 3rd time, obviously, because you've got the 2 timers in the room. And so your contestants aren't going to have technical issues. So that is something to consider. So please be very, very aware of that. The 30 seconds grace that everybody kept speaking about last year, and I was involved with 22 contests last year, and I saw the 30-second rule being applied all over the place. The 30-second rule, ladies and gentlemen, for online and hybrid contests only applies to technical difficulties with your timers, not your contestants. So if your timers are online and they lose connectivity, or their timing signals don't work or are not working, then your contestant is given 30 seconds grace, a maximum of 30 seconds grace at the discretion of the contest chief judge. It is the 30 seconds grace is given based on a timer's technical difficulty, not contest. Please remember that. Please be very, very aware of that. So chief judges all over the place, please understand that your contestants are not getting 30 seconds for free. Your contestants will get 30 seconds if there is a technical issue with the timers or timing devices, not with their connectivity. Their connectivity is all about that 5 minutes. That's it. Their time gets paused. They don't get extra time. Does that make sense? Are there any questions, comments, concerns, considerations? Anyone in the room? Anyone?
Kirsten, I just find that so much better than what we had last year, because last year, if a contestant fell off, everybody thought they had 30 seconds to reconnect. So contestants kind of joined on 2 devices so that if they fell off on one, they could move over to the other one. And it put a lot of pressure on contestants, and it was a mad scramble. So it makes more sense from a contestant's point of view. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult from an audience if you've got to wait 10 minutes or 5 minutes for someone to reconnect. And perhaps we should encourage people who think they have problems with connectivity to try and connect, even if not for the duration of the whole contest, but certainly for the duration of their speaking time with a few minutes either side on a second device.
Lynette, I couldn't agree with you more. I think having a second device ready to go is a very, very good idea. What I did see happen last year is once the guys lost the data connection, both devices lost the data connection. So they couldn't get back on with either device. And now you will notice that in this book on the last page, in this manual on the last page, it actually says all the way at the bottom, the last line, it's quite interesting because obviously they've had the same experience. It says here, let me go up. Okay, where is it now? When you are in the breakout rooms here, oh, here we go. It's not completely the last line, but it's very close. Make sure the contestants' hands are visible in the frame of the camera. This will allow you to confirm that they are not using a device. So as contest chair and chief judges, Lynette, I agree with you that it's a good idea to have that backup device, but then you have to be very, very careful that it doesn't give them an unfair advantage if they are competing in the table topics in the evaluation contest. And to avoid that, what I did encourage last year in the contest that I was involved in is that they must move most devices to the breakout room. So if somebody has got 2 devices, but the whole thing is they could change the names and but you know, in Toastmasters, what's one of our values? Hold on a sec. Integrity.
Integrity.
There we go. But yeah, it's because you know you need to show that you're not using another device. But yes, Lynette, I agree with you. I think if contestants can have as many backup plans as possible, and area directors, division directors, and those of you that are going to be involved in the district contests, my encouragement to you is to say to your contestants, to share with your contestants that you are assuming they are taking this contest, this competition so seriously because now they're progressing through the ranks, that could they take their connectivity as seriously? So please, could they find a friend, find a family member, find an office block where they are almost guaranteed uninterrupted power supply and data connectivity. So to make special arrangements for the contest that they are competing in, especially if they're going past club level, especially because now their chances of getting right through to district, you know, they've just increased those chances tenfold. So to take their speech preparation as and all of that, to take that same seriousness they put into that, into their data connectivity and their online presence, and to highlight that to them. Yes, somebody else would like to ask a question. Who's that? Morito?
Yeah.
No, it was a mistake. Sorry, man, about that. It's a mistake.
Morito, I got so excited. There was another voice in the room.
Sorry, man.
Add something. You've got the floor. Add something.
I just came in, actually. I was late. I just came
okay.
into the house. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Thanks,
then I won't put that much pressure on you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So please, ladies and gentlemen, be ready with those breakout rooms. Please make sure that there's a Zoom master in those breakout rooms, whether you are online or hybrid. Online and hybrid. There must be a Zoom master in the breakout room, and that Zoom master is literally your sergeant at arms in a physical environment. They are checking that your contestants are not using other devices, that your contestants are not giving themselves an unfair advantage, so forth and so on. So please, that is the role of the second Zoom master. To have that second Zoom master is important. And they stay in that breakout room until the last contestant moves out. That's why you have two Zoom masters. We have a question. Please tell me it's a question or a contribution or a conversation. Who's this? Kiribon.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity and the information shared. Compliments to the team members. From my side, it's a question. I didn't see maybe on the WhatsApp group or anywhere where we are given maybe the dates so that as we prepare, we know we're working towards that date. Not so sure if there's a confirmed date for the district or for the
So there are
area, or
confirmed-
if you can
There are
advise.
confirmed dates. So thank you for bringing, I will share that again on our WhatsApp group. I will
Thank you
share
so
it
much.
again after this session.
And lastly, maybe the expectation for the club members that wants to play a role as the contestant, maybe the advice that one should give. I know there's one club that is going to have their own, so I guess that for the exposure they can attend and see how it's done for the first time. But then maybe your last word in terms of, you know, encouraging and making sure that they've got that confidence that they need to go for it. Thanks. That's it for me.
Okay. That's actually a really, really good point. So for me, the encouragement for your club members is to remind them that we are in a safe place. We're in an amazingly safe place. And the big thing that I've shared with the members that I've interacted with is there is so much available to you as a contestant and as a role player through the Toastmasters International website. They've got the speech contest rulebook, they've got manuals, they've got tutorials, they've got online videos, they've got checklists. There is so much available on that website that you are not alone. As with everything that we do in Toastmasters International, there is so many resources. So many people have spent so much time putting stuff together for us that you are not alone. You are really not alone. So I always say you're going to be thrown in the deep end because it's a contest environment. It's not a club meeting environment. You're going to be thrown into the deep end. But the really good news is Toastmasters International throws you into the deep end with armbands. So you're going to be okay. You really are going to be okay. And the amazing thing is, no matter how many contests I have attended over all of the years, in person or online, the most amazing thing that I've always noticed is everybody in that contest wants every single contestant to win. Nobody wants a contestant to fail or not win. So the amount of motivation and support, that energy that you pick up is phenomenal. Everybody wants everybody to be a winner. So if anybody wants to experience a contest as a role player or as a contestant, I strongly, strongly encourage it. It is a phenomenal experience, and you are not going in to the deep end without any help at all. Toastmasters International gives you armbands, and your club leadership, your area leadership, your division leadership, and your district leadership gives you a lifesaver. So please, you're going to be safe. Just do it. Just do it. Yes, you would like the link for the WhatsApp group. I will, Lynette, are you still online? Is it possible for you to copy that link so I don't have to switch screens while everyone's watching my screen? Is it possible for you to?
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lynette. I've closed my WhatsApp because I didn't want beeping while we were talking. So it would take too long for me to get that link. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, please go through this this manual, this handout. I'm going to share this in the WhatsApp group as soon as we finish, and just be comfortable and convenient about it. I've gone through it so many times, and my message to you going through this is what is very, very important is choose your platform correctly. And we have a great advantage with Zoom. And only because we have been using Zoom as well for so long. So most of our members are quite comfortable in the Zoom environment. So Zoom or Microsoft Teams for your corporate clubs, use that platform, make sure that everybody's muted, make sure that everyone's video is off, which is a great help for your Zoom masters. Great, great help. Rename everybody that is online to their actual role. Don't use names except for your contestants. Take away the Q&A, the chat, and all of those things. You can do that in the meeting settings online when you log into your Zoom account. So whoever creates the Zoom session, they log into their account using the same username and password, and they can change those meeting settings. You can go and change those meeting settings to suit your contest. For a hybrid situation, please be very, very aware that everybody needs to be in an equal, it has to be treated with equal respect. In other words, there should not be any discrimination to people that are competing online versus people that are competing in person. And to make sure that you have sufficient role players, both online and in person, to support every single rule in the rule book. So you might have to double up on your role players. That is something to consider. You need to have that facility available. Something to consider in the last 5 minutes I just want to share with you is when they talk about the speaking area. What is encouraged, and if you go through this manual, they actually speak about it in here, where they talk about beginning the contest and working with your contestants in this section. What they do talk about is declaring an online speaking area. And that's obviously applicable for online contests and hybrid contests. Now, when they talk about the online speaking area, they get actually very technical. I was quite surprised. So I remember last year, especially, we were saying this is your speaking area, the video feed. And what you do with this area is up to you. In this particular manual now, not only do they stipulate that that is the speaking area, they actually encourage us to have exactly the same distance between the camera and the contestant. So they encourage us before the contest, before you officially open it, to have all the contestants' videos on and to have everybody standing right up against their camera. And then together, everybody takes 1, 2, 3 steps back. And then you decide if it's fair now for everybody. And then you check audio and you make sure that you can hear everybody as equally well. So what they're saying now is not just the speaking area is this, but to allow your online contestants to have a speaking area depth-wise as well. So almost creating a 3D environment. And I found it actually really interesting that they were that strict about it, because for me now, that levels the playing field when you are having a hybrid contest. Because in a hybrid contest, your camera that is looking at your contestant is probably not looking at your contestant here. Your camera in your room, your webcam, is probably picking up the whole entire contestant down to their shoes. So it gives them the ability to now use the entire body in their body language for the presentation. Whereas if I was a contestant, I've only got up to here. So I found it quite interesting. My only concern and consideration for everybody is we then need to please work with your contestants and make sure that they find the right equipment. Because if they step back 3 paces, their cords are probably not long enough. Now they're going to have to be cordless. And do they have the right equipment for us to hear them? Because you know that there's echoes in room, carpets and curtains absorb sound, so forth and so on. And then they must make use of the Zoom features. For those of you that don't know, if you go into your audio settings, you can say how much sound you want muted. So you can say you want all of the background sound muted, or you want some of them, or you don't want the background sound muted. If you are 3 steps away from your PC and you say, I want all of the background sound muted, guess who's going to be muted? Even though your microphone says you're not muted, the Zoom app is going to mute you because you're background noise. So please be very careful and please spend time with your contestants. If you are having an online or a hybrid contest and your contestants are online, please discuss with your contest chair and your chief judge how you're going to declare your speaking area And if you're going to encourage your contestants to step back, especially in a hybrid environment, because the contestants in the room are going to be presenting to judges with their whole body. So if people do step back, how are you going to handle the audio? So please read in this manual. They do encourage you to test that beforehand, and they encourage you to work with your contestants and make sure your contestants have the right equipment. It is something to consider. Lynette, you put your video on. Do you want to add anything?
Yes, Kirsten, this is a whole lot more complicated than one would think it is. But this particular manual, the questions and answers or whatever it is for hybrid contests, I have not been able to find it. I've been searching online now and I don't see it amongst the stuff I've downloaded. Please, can you share it with us or put it on the WhatsApp group so that we can download it there? I can only find the French version.
Oh, yes. So amazingly enough, the French version comes up first. I also noticed that, but it actually is in the resources on the website. I'm going to share it now in the WhatsApp group. I'm definitely
so
going to
much.
share it. No, 100%. So yes, I also
did put the WhatsApp link in the chat. So if anyone's not there, they can join quickly through the chat.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. So the questions tonight were, can I share this particular manual? And can I share the timetable? And I'm going to share the international website links for specific sections, so that you can have access to those, quick and fast and furiously, and you don't go looking all over the internet for it and only find the French connection. Hopefully I'll be able to help you with that. Okay, anything else? We're good. Thank you so much, Lynette. Again, thank you. You always support me so well in these sessions. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you so much to everybody else. Thank you so much for being here. And again, I will share the link with you for the saved video so that you can share it with everybody else that needs to see it on YouTube if they do have any other questions or questions. One more thing. One more thing. I just suddenly remembered. Sorry. Your briefings. Your contest chair briefing with your contestants, your chief judge and or they encourage you to possibly consider your contest chair in those briefings. Your chief judge with the briefing with the role players cannot be a recorded briefing. It must be live. They use the word live. So you can have that in person or online, but in both cases, it must be live. So there is no use us making a delicious video for all of you to share as contest chairs and chief judges. You need to host those briefings live. Okay, it is documented. So area directors, division directors, please don't think you can record it for your whole area or your whole division. It needs to be a live session. Michelle, you got your hand up.
Just a question on that. If, for example, someone is unable to attend the briefing session that you've booked, would that contestant be able to watch a recorded video of the briefing, or do we have to then have a separate
one-on-one?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no recording. It needs to be live. Okay, so please remember that. Please remember that. Thank you for the question, Michelle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have an awesome afternoon. I really hope that stage 6 doesn't find you in South Africa and that you're living behind the hill that Eskom doesn't know exists, that you have a lovely summer-filled rest of the week. Embrace the summer, and we will be back online, same place, same time next week. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Kristen. Bye, everyone. Bye.
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 Thank you very much. Bye.